What is up, guys? Dr. Alex Spinoso. Welcome back to Medical Mondays, and today we're going to talk about throat infections. The kids are back in school for a few weeks, and they're around a whole bunch of little other petri dishes, and they come back from school saying, I have a sore throat. Now, all parents freak out and they say, oh my gosh, you have strep throat. We have to go to the doctor right away. And they end up here in the office seeing me. So I want to give you some information for strep throat and what you can do if you have your kid and they start to have sore throat, whether or not you should be taking them to the doctor or worrying really about strep throat. So most of the time, sore throats, or pharyngitis as we call it, is caused by a virus. That's about 60% of the time. Now, viruses cannot be killed by antibiotics because they have a protective layer that the antibiotics can't get into. Now, about 40% of the time, you end up having strep. Strep is a bacteria that causes the same sore throat infection. It is very, very contagious and can be passed around at school. Kids are sniffling, coughing on each other, sharing each other's food, drinks. Now, most of the time, people who get strep are going to be school-age children from around 3 to 18 years old. Younger than 3, strep is very, very rare. Older than 18, strep is also very rare. The biggest signs and symptoms that I see people come in with that they think they have strep is cough. Cough is really not one of the signs and symptoms of strep. If you have your child that is coughing a lot, then it is a sign that is actually not strep throat. The biggest things you want to worry about in strep throat are fever, sore throat with big swollen neck or swollen tonsils, and if your kid goes, Mom, Dad, my neck really hurts when I move it. Those are really the big things you want to worry about with strep. Now, strep can be diagnosed very easily in any clinic with a strep test. It's just a little swab we put in the back of the throat, and it's going to tell us whether or not your kid has a bacterial infection such as strep so that we could give them antibiotics. But most of the time, like I said, these are caused by viruses. So what should you do if you think your kid has strep? Well, first of all, try and keep them home from school for a day or two. Secondly, what you should do is start with saltwater gargles as well as honey to kind of soothe and coat the back of the throat. Also, cold things such as ice creams or cold drinks can help soothe the back of the throat as well. You want to avoid fried foods or things such as chips that are scratchy and can really damage the back of the throat and cause more inflammation. The other thing you want to do for fevers is be giving ibuprofen and Tylenol. However, the main things you want to be concerned about is if your kid's fever stays above 101 to 102 degrees and doesn't go back down, even with ibuprofen and even with Tylenol. You also want to make sure that your kid isn't getting worse. If they start to get tired all the time, they start to not be able to eat very well, they start to not be able to breathe very well. These are all symptoms that you want to make sure they get checked immediately by your doctor. So remember, if your kid has a sore throat, you don't have to immediately go to the doctor. Don't freak out. Just listen to them, see how they're feeling. 60% of the time it's a virus. It's just going to go away on its own within 5 to 7 days. The other 40% of the time, it might be an infection that has to be seen by a physician and treated with some antibiotics. Hope you enjoyed this video. Parents, this is very important. If you know other parents that are going through this, I know you do, send them this video, give them the information, help them, help their own children, and help them help me when these kids come to my office to get treated. I'm Dr. Alex Spinoso. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next Medical Monday.